You are exhausted. Your legs are shaking. Blood on your hands, not yours. Behind you, a dead antelope, 200 pounds of meat. You tracked it for 6 hours. You threw the spear that dropped it. Now you're walking into camp, and you're smiling. You shouldn't be. 30 faces turn toward you. No cheers, no applause. An old man squints at your kill, then he laughs. That thing looks half-starved. Someone else snorts. Took you 6 hours for that? Your smile disappears. You just brought home a feast. And they're mocking you like you failed. So why does this happen? Why does the hero get insulted? Stay with this question. Because the answer explains something about you right now. Rewind for a second. Picture a different animal. A lion. A lion kills. The male eats first. Nobody insults him. Nobody dares. Claws decide the order. Size decides the order. Simple, brutal, obvious. Humans had spears. Spears break that rule completely. Here's the part nobody tells you. A weapon doesn't just kill animals. A weapon kills tyrants too. 5 weak men with sharp sticks can end 1 strong man. Overnight, muscle stopped being the only currency. Something else had to decide who eats. So which weapon actually decided the order? Not the spear, something sharper. Words. In 1963, an anthropologist named Richard Lee tested this himself. He lived among the Kung in the Kalahari. He bought an enormous ox as a gift. Then he watched. He expected gratitude. He got insults instead. You mean you tricked us into coming for that bag of bones? One hunter spat those words, staring at a mountain of meat. Lee was baffled. An elder finally explained it. And that explanation is the star fact of this whole story. The Kung call it insulting the meat. Every big kill gets mocked, every time. Not because the hunter failed. Because he succeeded too well. Back to you, standing in camp, holding your antelope. Here's the danger they're diffusing. If they praised you today, what happens tomorrow? You start believing you're better. You start deciding who eats first. You start acting like the lion. So they cut you down before you can climb. On purpose. Every single time. Feel that sting for a second. It's not personal. It's a machine. A social machine built to stop one man from becoming king. Now here's the twist that actually reframes everything. You don't even own this meat. Not really. In many hunting cultures, ownership belongs to the weapon. Whoever's spear struck first gets to distribute it. Sometimes that's you. Sometimes that spear was borrowed. Sometimes it belonged to an old woman back at the fire. She decides who eats, not you. Let that sink in. The strongest hunter in camp can walk home with nothing extra. The weakest elder can walk home with a full portion guaranteed. Skill hunts the animal. Kinship divides the animal. 2 completely separate systems working side by side. Why build it this way? Because hunts fail constantly. Some days you bring home nothing. If sharing depended on your mood or your ego, people would starve. So the tribe removed the choice. Rules decide, not men. This is where it gets personal. Because you still carry this machine. Right now, in your own chest. Ever downplayed a big win at work? Said, oh, it was nothing when it clearly wasn't. That reflex isn't modesty. It's 400,000 years of insulting the meat. Your brain still expects punishment for standing out. Ever felt secret relief when a bragging coworker gets humbled? That's not pettiness. That's the old Kung elder still living in your skull. Still watching for tyrants. Still ready to mock the meat. Now here's the paradox worth sitting with. The best hunters weren't always the strongest men. Tracking takes patience. Patience beats muscle most days. So the alpha fantasy collapses twice over. Once to spears, once to skill. There was no throne to sit on. Only a fire, a carcass, and 30 watchful eyes. Back to camp. Back to you. The old man is still chuckling about your skinny antelope. You sit down anyway. You hand your spear to your brother-in-law. He decides the cuts. You get a normal share, maybe smaller than expected. An old widow gets a guaranteed portion. A child too young to hunt gets one too. Nobody starves tonight. Not because you're generous. Because the system doesn't allow starvation as an option. Tomorrow, you might catch nothing. The joke will be on someone else's kill. You'll eat anyway. That's the deal. That's always been the deal. So who actually got the first bite of meat? not the hunter, not the strongest, not even the man who threw the spear. The first bite belonged to a rule. A rule older than kings, older than money, built from nothing but insults, kinship, and fear of one man growing too big. Maybe that's uncomfortable. Maybe you wanted a hero story. A single man, spear raised, feeding his people, celebrated. Real history hands you something stranger. A hero mocked on purpose so he never becomes a tyrant. So next time you shrink your own achievement in front of others, ask yourself something. Is that humility? Or is that an old hunter still standing in camp, still waiting to be insulted, still keeping the whole group alive by staying small?